Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. It's time for another Two for Tuesday, and I want to take a moment here and just thank all the channels that have been participating in this open tag. It's really fantastic, the participation by the community. I think our viewers are enjoying seeing our Two for Tuesday videos, so keep it up. If you're a channel out there and you haven't participated, well, it's really easy. Grab a couple of knives and just talk about them. Show knives you've shown before. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's fun to compare, two knives, one against the other, or in this case, it's kind of the same model, but there are differences to it. Now, I have been on a Stockman kick, and if you seen my video last Saturday for the Saturday Stockman Stampede, that's an open tag that was started by Terry's Knives and Man Stuff. And I forgot to properly credit Terry in that video. I was so excited. I'll put a link to that video down in the description. But in that video, I showcased the very first version of a Buck 301 Stockman. It was made by Schrade. If you haven't seen that video, wow, you got to see it. It was quite a find, and I was so excited to get that knife and to be able to review it. So again, thank you, Terry, for that great open tag. It seems like because of that open tag, Stockmans are on everybody's mind. They're certainly on mine. And the Buck 301 Stockman for sure is, I've gotten bit by the bug to try to get them all collected. Another reason that the Stockman has come to mind is I just held my drawing for international viewers. And I gotta tell you, Gadget Gus, that man, yes, Gadget Gus won that drawing, and he said he wanted a knife from America, or American-made knife. And I said, nothing says America like a Buck 301 Stockman, and he agreed, so I'm in the process of getting that ordered to him. So Gus, here's a look at the Buck 301 Stockman, USA made. It has 420HC blade steel with the Boss heat treatment. And there's a look at the main blade, the clip point. And here's a look at the sheep's foot. And you got to have the spay. There's your spay blade right there. Now, paired up with this is I have one of the Buck Stockmans that was made overseas. It was made in China. And this is the model 371. It is identical to the 301 Stockman with a few exceptions, and we'll get into that. One of the biggest differences right off the bat is the blade steel here is in 420J2. So it's not quite as good a steel as in the American made. But we'll just compare here. We'll check out the blade shapes. There's a comparison in the blades. A little bit of a difference there. You can see there's a difference in the nail nick. This is the little cat's eye that Buck uses on their USA made slip joints. You can see we have a longer nail nick there. Of course, this one is made in jig bone. And they did a really good job in that jig bone. Now I know on the 371 they also have come out with a model with the burl wood, and they're a beautiful knife too. They did a wonderful job with burl wood, and they came out with one in just natural wood grain is what they call it. But here's the difference in our blades. And there you can see the tang stamps. Okay, so those are the clip blades. We'll take a look at the sheep's foot here. Kind of compare them. Again, big difference in the nail nick, but the blade shape itself is pretty much identical. And we'll look at that famous or infamous spay blade here real quick. Just kind of put them side by side and see how they look. Pretty close. Of course, they're both, Buck always puts a hollow grind on their blades. And we turn them over and that's what they look like. Well, we can look at the fit and finish here just a little bit. We'll look at the back springs on the USA made one. Nice and smooth. And they use an integrated liner. And what's different on Buck Stockmans than most other Stockmans is Buck uses uses 3 springs. So you have a spring for each blade, where most Stockmans are made with 2 blades, which means I think, let's see, which 2 blades? 2 blades share a spring. I can't remember which 2. But on the USA made and on the Chinese made, they use the 3 springs also. And as I've noted before, according to Buck, on the Stockman, they always said that the sheep's foot was the most used blade. So by using 3 springs, they're able to have the sheep's foot fold out opposite of the clip point, where on most Stockmans, the clip point and sheep's foot fold out the same end. They changed it to come out the opposite end, so then it is sandwiched between the other 2 springs, and it gives it a lot more strength, and it's a lot easier to use because it's, you got a 90-degree angle there. Everything's running parallel. So the build is the same. Now I'll broach that subject, and it's kind of like the third rail, I don't like to talk about it because it probably will elicit a lot of comments. But I'll just start by saying, because I get this comment a lot, I wish they were still made in the USA. Well, as far as I know, the 301 is still being made. I think the last 2 models being made in the US are the 301 Stockman and the 303 Cadet, which is a medium Stockman. All the other slip joint patterns are being made in China now by Buck. I just want to say, yes, I wish they were all made in the USA again. I really do. But reality is reality. There is such competition out there that these knife makers, they're trying to keep their prices down. And by having these made in China, they can keep the prices way down. And then, they can package them like this and they can sell them in Walmart. And I don't remember how much this was. It was around $20 or something like that. Versus these are now $60, $65 or something like that. So you see, for the average working man, they probably don't care where it's made. They're just looking for a pocket knife. So this allows them to keep shelf space in like your Walmarts and all your other discount stores. And to me, if the profits off of these help Buck stay afloat, keep their U.S. operations going so they can focus on their fixed blades and things like that, USA made, more power to them. There are far too many companies that have struggled and fought and tried to keep all of their operations here in the U.S., and they're gone now. I mean, Schrade is a big example. We just saw it with Old Hickory. They just can't compete. So that is just reality. That's the nature of business. I'm still happy, though, that Buck does make the 301 here stateside, and they have a lot of knives that are still being made here in the States. And I know, watching interviews with C.J. Buck, the current chairman, they're doing everything they can to have as many models made here in the U.S. because they like them being made here also. So, sorry, I hate to bring up that subject because it elicits a lot of emotion, to myself included. So, but I have to say, people use the term Chinese junk. Well, you may not like the Chinese government, you might not like China, but the knives are not junk. I mean, they're still a well-built knife. They are a well-built knife. So there you have it. Gadget Gus, congratulations once again on winning the international drawing. And this is what you're going to be getting, one just like this. So until next time, everyone, have a very delightful day. Don't forget, I'll put a link to my Buck Knives playlist down here in the lower right-hand corner. That big round Knife Delights button there, punch that if you'd like to subscribe. And down here in the lower left-hand corner, well, that's the next video that YouTube thinks you should watch.